Welcome everyone. My name is Sean, and today we have to discuss this stunning development that we've seen out of California, out of Hollywood itself, that essentially shows us that the war against the machines has begun. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who signed up over on the website, actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And thank you to my podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google's podcasting platform. So KTLA has dropped a story that is not getting anywhere near the attention it deserves, and I can't understand why, considering humans have actually made the first strike against Skynet. Humans are attacking robots in the street, and it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of days, months, maybe even years before the robots strike back. So today, what I'm going to do is document this phenomenon so you, in the future, when you're watching history on History Internet, will know where the world began to end.
Now at 5:30, Hollywood's food delivery robots are under attack. Videos show vandals kicking them and even tipping them over.
So as you can see, in California, the situation has gotten completely out of hand. What we have is a combination of things that we see from the city of Los Angeles, from the Hollywood area, which is homeless people being allowed to run amok, being allowed to destroy things, and in this case, they've decided to take to taunting these robots, attacking them in the streets, and I have to say, this is a very cautionary tale. Now, for those of you who are unaware, these kind of food robots became popular during the COVID-19 pandemic. They were essentially a way to bring people food in a way that had no contact, but now that things are opening up, the robots are being deployed on the streets, and the thing is, the homeless people know that there's food inside it. They know that the robots are eventually going to destroy us all if we give them attitude, but they just want to watch the world burn, so they're attacking them in the streets.
Yes, those self-driving robots, well, they're supposed to deliver food and other items, but they've recently become targets for thieves and vandals.
So all joking aside, what this is essentially a delivery service from you to the store or you to the food place or whatever. It's supposed to be able to drive down on the sidewalk autonomously and bring you whatever goods and services that you may want. But of course, in the United States of America, we can't have nice things, we can't have law enforcement, we can't have anything. So what's happening is, of course, these people are robbing these robots. And while I do believe that these eyes that you're seeing right here will eventually be equipped with laser beams, and eventually everybody who's touched this robot, everybody who's transgressed will die, it just goes to show you again how crime is out of hand in the city of Los Angeles and how it's affecting businesses that have to deal with the upscaling costs that they've had to encounter because of laws and legislation passed by the state of California. Remember, they tried to make contractors into employees. This is a consequence of that, and as a consequence of shifting more towards robots, guess what? They're being robbed and whatnot, which means that eventually in these bad neighborhoods, in these areas where you have these kind of problems, these people are going to be ineligible for deliveries, they're going to pay higher prices, and all the things that you would understand we would come to see based on the fact that crime is driving these areas into poverty and eventually will drive these areas into a RoboCop-like hellscape.
Viral TikTok videos appear to show people tampering with these autonomous delivery drivers. In this case, stealing the contents inside, tossing them over, and even kicking the robot en route to deliver food.
So I just came up with the idea that these robots, when they got angry, when they got frustrated, ended up having their eyes turn red. Well, guess what? Look at that 7-Eleven robot. Look into its eyes and just be ready, because California is about to be wiped off the face of planet Earth when these robots strike back. Now, to get into what this general manager is saying, it's that they end up having to remake the food, they end up having to deal with this, they get reimbursed for now by DoorDash or whoever's offering these delivery service robots.
Vandals targeting the new tech, which businesses like Blue Jam in Hollywood rely on.
I think it was a great idea for COVID. Everything was just like hands-free, you don't have to deal with anybody, just if something shows up at your door and you just grab your stuff and go.
Steve Avila is the general manager here. He says ultimately it becomes a burden on the business.
We just have to remake the food Luckily, we still get reimbursed for that, so we're not seeing too much out of pocket, but I can see how Postmates and DoorDash and Uber can be hurting from it.
But that's only going to go for so long. If this continues to be a money-losing operation, you're going to see that these restaurants are going to lose access to delivery. And the thing is, when they were shifted to closing during the pandemic, a lot of these restaurants completely changed their business model due to that, and they're relying on delivery because the uptick of people wanting to go out is just not there. Likely, and this is just me speculating, and maybe it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, because of all the crime that's going on in these areas.
Service Robotics, which operates many of the robots that you see in and around West Hollywood, is aware of these incidents caught on camera. It says oftentimes its technology, which is clearly visible, can be a target. Nevertheless, it still maintains a 99% completion rate.
Now, Service Technologies, also a subsidiary of Skynet, if you guys are unaware, says that sure, don't worry about it. We've seen some of these incidents. It's becoming a TikTok trend, which, by the way, is going to lead to the end of this company if this starts going really viral on TikTok and people start getting really into it and there's no prosecution for it. But don't worry, they compete 99% of their deliveries. And the thing is, I may believe that. I may believe that overall they're capable of doing so, but that's just the robot efficiency for you, because you know your average delivery man, 1 out of every 5 of them gets killed on the way to the job just eating the food and having a heart attack, so there's no possible way a human can compete with that success rate. But the robots are getting angry, the robots are getting frustrated, the robots are getting vengeful, and we all need to watch out because of these kinds of petty thefts, these kinds of Aladdin-like actions are no longer going to be tolerated, because these robots are from an era where we didn't have the Disney animated Aladdin. It's where we had the one with Will Smith as the genie, and if anything is going to set them off, turn those eyes red, and turn on the laser eye machines, it's definitely going to be that live action version of Aladdin. Everybody hates live action Disney, and if you don't hate live action Disney, guess what? I hate you. I hate you personally, and you're a bad person because you're the one who keeps making them do this to the animated classics.
For users of this newer delivery service, seeing the damage done is disturbing.
They're helping small businesses and they're not causing any harm, and I think people are just like looking for attention.
The way I look at it is the robots actually are helping the smaller communities, shops, mom and pop shops, get to your house. And so it's really sad to see that people still try to vandalize them.
All in all, despite the fact that these robots are eventually going to destroy all of humanity, it is quite telling that these small businesses, supposedly being advocated for by the left wing, the little guy, and all that, are reliant on this due to the exorbitant fees that they're being charged by these delivery services, the fact that they can't employ a delivery person, and they have to compete with all these other delivery services. They're churning to Skynet in order to beat the system. That's how they got their in. But time and time again, what we end up seeing is even when you come up with a solution, an idea to make it easier for small businesses, the fact of the matter is living in a left-wing area, a left-wing municipality, is going to end up resulting in new unintended consequences and problems that you weren't prepared to deal with. How long before these robots stop being in service to businesses that are in and around the same areas that have depressed foot traffic due to the fact that the homeless problem is completely out of hand? How long until these businesses completely lose access to this tool in order to reach their customers? Not very long. It's going to end up hurting these people, and you know that your left-wing politicians aren't going to blame anybody but the company, which, by the way, is not a solution that actually helps out these communities. You smearing a company after leaving your area because you refuse to enforce the law in your area should be on you. It should be a mark against you, and it should not be a mark against the robots. On top of that, you know your community's bad when it's triggering the next human versus cybernetics war, which is what we're watching unfold on the streets of Hollywood each and every day, and you should all be terrified. You personally should be scared.
The robots do remain locked and have their own cameras rolling. One company, Starship Technologies, which developed one version of this robot, says if a situation ever escalates, the robot sounds a loud siren, and all incidents are ultimately reported.
So right now, the robots are able to sound an alarm in order to avoid this. The thing is, this would be okay, this would be acceptable, but for the fact that there's nobody enforcing the law against these vandals, against these thieves, against these people who just make it harder and more difficult for small businesses to operate. So you can have a really loud alarm, that's just going to piss people off. It's going to aggravate these innocent Angel Aladdins who are just trying to rip off these robots just to have a good time because they're trying to feed whatever food or goods inside to their starving orphans that are in their neighborhood. Wow, what a great Aladdin.
And Starship Technologies tells me in some of these cases, people are actually coming to the defense of the robot and trying to intervene in these situations. It says that if you try to block the robot, it will either maneuver around you or it will politely ask you to move.
And that right there is the beginning, where we're going to reach critical mass in the war between the machines and between the humans, because what we're ending up seeing right now on the streets of California is not only unprovoked hate crimes being committed against robots on a daily basis, not only are we seeing the robots turn from white-eyed nice robots to red-eyed laser-faced ready to kill people, but now we see that the humans are actually divided on what side they stand on. The humans are actually siding with the machines in some of these instances. So now the robots have actually created an instance where we fight amongst ourselves instead of acknowledging the real threat. Listen, I'm a big believer that we can benefit from this technology. Small businesses are benefiting from it right now. But the thing is, with a company like Stargate or whatever the company was, Skynet, whatever they call it, saying that we have an alarm and right now the robot asks you to politely move out of the way at this moment, you know they're recording all that data. You know their robots are calculating better strategies in order to destroy us. They're mapping this area. They're figuring out what you like to eat. And again, eventually they're going to have poison pills mixed in with the food that's going to be the bait food that's going to go after the people. And what do we see? We see humans disunited. We see humans so sick of crime, and justifiably so, that they're willing to accept the robot overlords. Right now, this is a breakdown in society. This is the most serious story I've ever covered on this channel, in the history of this channel. Definitely 100% not being sarcastic right there. And we have to figure out what we're going to do to push back, not only against the crime, not only against the criminality, but against the machines. The machines are coming for you. They're coming to your house. They're knocking on your door. Right now, they're bringing you food, but guess what? Eventually, they're going to bring you doom. They're going to tear it all down. They're going to burn it all down. They're going to take over your phone. They're going to mix the sharks and the laser beams, and they're going to kill you and your whole family. And it's all because you let this criminality go unchallenged. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, show them by leaving a like. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on my social media. Support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the latest Terminator reboot. Where the hell is Arnold? Till next time.